Hi you guys, this video is about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 12, episode 13. Should be a fun one. I have some auxiliary gossip I'm going to be sharing with you guys as well in this video, like I do on all my recap videos. I get bored with recaps, so I try to also incorporate hot gossip that I think was kind of cool from the week before that's come out. And also I think that's fun later when people are wanting to learn about what was happening at the time in social media and off the show, like for example, the Erika White lawsuit and stuff like that, that there's a way to like capture it. So that's why I put gossip that's happening off camera in these videos. Just wanted to explain that. So today there's a rocket launch at NASA. I'm really excited. 7 p.m. East Coast time. Be there, be square. I have kept it secret for many years that I am truly a geek, like of the worst kind, which is probably why I come off as not fitting in with the rest of the ladies who are too cool for school on Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay, so let's get into the recap gossip sesh, okay, shall we? This was a good episode. I'm excited. Oh, by the way, 14 days, no alcohol diet. Proud of me. You guys see Lisa Rinna on Watch What Happens Live last night after the episode? She was on her best behavior. Could you tell there was a little tension between her and Andy? I could. Anyway, if you want to know more about that, behind the scenes, what was happening, go watch the live I did a few days ago with Thea. Your moms are watching, because she got the scoop on that, what was going down. And it's in that live. It's an hour and a half, but like maybe just let it run at work, like, you know, background or whatever. But there's a part in there where she explains the whole thing. And I was like, bingo, played out last night. All right, so let's get into this. This episode had no Kyle in it, really. And I know the fans were having a ball with that. They were like, ooh, a practice episode with no Kyle. What would that be like? So here's what one fan said about it, who I like. So mean. So mean. But so funny. Anyway, so no Kyle, no Diana Jenkins on this episode, really. I mean, you know, there's phone calls or FaceTime or whatever. No, who else didn't come? Kathy on this one. Only Lisa, Garcelle, Sutton, and Dorit really participate in this episode. Am I missing somebody? Probably, but you get the drift. We start out the episode with Sutton's kids, which was interesting. Only 2 of her 3 children appear on the show. We see Porter Strack, which is her daughter, and we see Philip, her son. I don't know if he's the middle kid, but I think he is. And then there's one other kid. So we don't know. I don't know which, you know, what age the third kid is. But anyway, so he introduces her son, Philip, and he's a karaoke lover.
Go back there right now. Oh, you think I'm talking crazy in a different language you might not understand.
He is contemplating going into the Army. Sutton wants to get across that she, although super rich and getting like $50,000 a month in child support and alimony, has made it, you know, tough on her kids when needed. So she gave him a job as a soda vending person in Georgia in like 100-degree heat, where he had to get up at 5:30 in the morning. And she did this so he would learn how hard a job like that is, because he had expressed interest in being in the Army, and she wanted him to understand the level of difficult the Army is. So, you know, he would stop romanticizing the experience of being in the military. Anyway, we learn that he's going to Citadel, and he just skydived on his birthday, which was really exciting for him, because it shows that he's like overcome a lot of his fears. You know, I guess when he was little, she tells a story that they were on a plane flight with lots of turbulence. He was 3, and he's like, we're all gonna die. And everybody in the plane was like, oh my God, what does this kid know that we don't? And she was like, nothing. And haha, you get it. Okay. So that's that. But I do like to share information about these housewives' personal lives because they give you a lot of insight into them. Now, Christian is her ex-husband, and there is a whole video about her divorce in my playlist for Beverly Hills. You should definitely go watch it. And I'll throw a link in the description of this video too, because there's a whole thing there. Porter, if you recall, the girl we see in the scene in this week's episode, she was the one who was in the hot tub with like all the international children that Sutton felt like was really great because it was like a melting pot in the hot tub. And it pissed off everybody because it was insensitive to race, because she, she called a girl in the hot tub just because she was Asian. She called her Chinese and she wasn't Chinese, and just a whole bunch of faux pas, and so anyway, a video, which is in my shorts, appeared online of a girl saying that she was indeed the girl, the Asian girl that Sutton was referring to in the hot tub scene that was like, so great that her daughter was hanging out. Her name is Kim, Alyssa Kim. And she was established, I guess, as the friend that knew Porter. So indeed, that video does seem to be true. A lot of people thought it wasn't true. And it has been since deleted, but it does exist on my shorts. If you want to go check it out, I posted it and screen grabbed it because I had a feeling it wasn't going to stay up very long. And that girl is Alyssa Kim, and indeed does have a connection to Porter. So probably was true. I don't know if you guys knew that. Okay. So we then move on to Garcelle's book, which they haven't touted too much on this episode. Or on the season, rather. Hopefully more of that to come. Garcelle talks about how Bill Cosby caused her, may have sexually assaulted her, basically. Read between the lines. I haven't read the book, but that's what's sort of alluded to. She also modeled for Playboy, which I'll see if I can find it. If I can, I'll post it in the Patreon because she's probably naked. Now, Erika Jane Girardi, if you recall, on her social media, threw Garcelle's book in her garbage can and filmed it and put it up. So all of her millions of followers would see Garcelle's book in the trash. So it was just, I don't know. Can I tell you? It was like, this was off camera stuff. So Garcelle and Erika's relationship is BS. They have none. Erika talking about Pretty Mess Hair, her extension company, and how the influencers are going to release all of their touts of her hair. There was some drama with her hair that happened on social media. If you don't know about that, go to recap season 12, episode 12's video towards the second half. By the way, is Jackie the publicist the same publicist that did her Pretty Mess book launch, or was that a different publicist? Let me know. I'm really curious. Does anyone know who was the publicity agent on Pretty Mess books? Then Erika starts saying, ooh, I want to be a dominatrix and I want to start Pretty Mess Dungeons, copyright that. And she says that she wants to appeal to high-paying clients and beat them up because, it's all the things that she knows the fans want to hear, which is that she's loves to give pain and for pleasure and a bunch of other, very cliche type things she says. But whatever, that's it. And so she's starting a dominatrix business. This is all very interesting, of course, to us because at this time when this was being filmed, she was supposedly going to sex clubs which had like S&M and bondage themes. And she had supposedly met with, maybe hooked up with Armie Hammer, who was staying in her neighbor's pool house for a while. And so some people speculated that she might have been hooking up with Armie Hammer, via the sex club membership. They met and they kind of were hooking up and having sex and kind of the bondage thing and whatever. And she keeps alluding that she's only having sex and that's pretty much what it is. And so there was a lot of rumors that she was going to these high membership sex clubs, and that was where she was kind of meeting all these guys and having all these, you know, sex things, sex interludes. Is it an interlude? It's an interlude. Okay. So yeah. And Batman was the closest thing I could find to a dominatrix mask on here. The good news is he didn't eat her. During her conversation with her team, Erika admits that she loves old narcissists. This is the first time I've heard Erika be honest in a very long time about something. Lisa and Sutton go to Lumiere for lunch, and Lisa basically says she enjoys torturing Sutton. The lunch, we don't really get why they're having lunch until later, but what comes out is that they're having this discussion about their fight to do with Elton John's Oscar party. Lisa said she was invited to go free on her own. Sutton said that she invited her to sit at her table, and so should have said thank you or come on her dime. Anyway, needless to say, what I still can't believe to this day is that Sutton hasn't pulled the card, which is that when you look at the tax records of the Elton John AIDS Foundation, she's given like over $100,000. Lisa hasn't given anything but promotional barter for her involvement with that Oscar party and the AIDS charity from the tax records anyway. So I was like, why isn't she pulling that big gun out? Or maybe she is and they're editing it out. It's possible. But Lisa admits she likes to torture Sutton, which makes her sound like the narcissist that pretty much all the fans believe she is. And which is really weird because she's saying Sutton's a narcissist. So it's like, I wonder if maybe she is seeing herself when she looks at Sutton. So confusing. She talks about her big lips. I think it's her big mouth, not her big lips she should be talking about. I mean, that woman's laugh. Did you hear her on Watch What Happens Live? She was like screaming. I'm like, why are you screaming? We're right here. Lisa, we're right here. This is my DNF Jenkins filter. Okay, I don't even know. Yeah, her accent's a lot. I don't know. It's kind of like Dory. Where are you from, lady? No, I know where she's from, Bosnia, but still very difficult to figure out that accent after Britain and everything else. Okay, so Diana admits just briefly that she has an island and that the FBI couldn't even find her on her island. Come on, you guys. Come on. Were you all dying in this scene? I was. I could have just clipped that one part and not watched anything else. So now I'm going to start investigating her island, because you know what islands mean usually in a lot of cases, right? Lately anyway. Oh boy. Trouble on islands. Okay. So, wow, that didn't help her conspiracy theory, anti-conspiracy campaign. I wonder if Mutassim Gaddafi ever went to her island. Wow, I wonder if there's money on that island. There could be treasure in them hills. We then see Kyle's new dog appear as a puppy. First of all, Kyle can't control the dog she has. They need, obviously, more training, attention from what I'm seeing on the show. So for her to get another one was, like, annoying to me. And that, you know, is such a desperate tactic, because it's Lisa Vanderpump got a lot of traction out of having cute dogs and outfits. And so I think a lot, if you recall, Adrian got a dog after that and tried to feature it on the show. And it was a thing to have small, cute dogs at that time in Beverly Hills. That wasn't inauthentic. But a lot of, you know, the women know that dogs are kind of a way to get the fans on side. That's all I'm going to say, guys. It is that manipulative, I swear. Okay, now maybe Kyle really wanted a new dog. So then Erika Jayne Girardi gives a big middle finger to all the victims and debt people and, you know, all the people that have been hurt by her ex-husband by wearing to this lunch, first of all, the earrings that have been given over to the court in an escrow account now, but she's fighting it. She's appealing they awarded the earrings to the trustee because it was bought with client money, but Erika's appealing that and trying to get the earrings back. And by doing that, she's locking the earrings up in the court system so that they can't be given over to, liquidated for the victims or whomever the trustee deems appropriate. So she's wearing those earrings, and she's wearing her Cartier ring, which we know is worth like $300,000 to like $500,000 now with inflation since she first got it. And it's more glam when any other person is wearing at that party. So like, I'm looking at people who legitimately have money, not all of them, but some of them. And she has out-diamonded all of them in that scene. And I thought what the irony is on that, knowing what we know about Erika, that she's the one being ostentatious with her jewelry. And that's why I know it was a message. It was definitely an intentional message of F you to everybody. Anyway, I'm going to show you quick screenshots that I grabbed just so we document it in this video. She's unreal, this lady. Unreal. Oh my goodness. It's times like this that I'm happy that Erika just got served with a $50 million lawsuit. Oh, by the way, did you hear the story about Jay Edelson had the process server pretend to be a fan and walk up to Erika, and that's how she got close enough to serve her. And then Erika realized and grabbed the papers and was pissed, and Lisa was storming out. But that's why she looked so mad, because the server pretended to be a fan. Oh my gosh, love it. Love it. And by the way, the paparazzi just happened to be there when she got served. Pretty sneaky, Jay. Another weird thing was Crystal. I forgot about Crystal completely. Oops. She's not like nowhere in this episode really. And then what happens is we find out that Crystal is bulimic, which we knew already, but they make a bigger issue out of it in this episode. And that she's not just throwing up once in a while, she's throwing up every day. So like all meals. So she's really falling apart. And so that does come out, but no Crystal. I don't even think she calls and says she has COVID or something. She's just not there. Maybe she wasn't happy that they were covering her bulimia on the show. Okay, well, at least Sheree comes for a little bit, but she really doesn't bring anything again. Sheree's been a disappointment completely because I've seen her, but you know what? It's not fair because I've seen Sheree in other reality shows and she's great. So I have to blame production on Sheree's failure on this franchise. I'm saying, because she's rocked it on other reality shows. So sorry, Evolution, you dropped the ball with Sheree. Like some other people. By the way, if you want a fake knockoff bag, Sheree's selling them. So Lisa Rinna is working with the company Prestige on developing a rosé, a Chardonnay. The women taste it. The rosé, they said, is fabulous. That's a big dig at Lisa Vanderpump, who also has a rosé. I think Lisa Rinna, did that on purpose. I think, because, Lisa Rinna and Lisa Vanderpump have had a rivalry on and off the show for years. Lisa's Chardonnay, the women says, needs more work, but the rosé, Rinna Rosé, is great. They also drank Rinna Rosarita, or Rinna Rita. Yeah, Rinna Rita, which was a margarita, I guess, with some liquor of Rinna's in there. Anyway, the women eat it, drink it. They probably inhaled it. They all get really drunk, and then this big fight happens between Lisa Rinna and Sutton. Lisa Rinna suddenly decides after their lunch that she's still pissed off about Sutton and the Elton John thing. And meanwhile, Erika Jane Girardi is going around Lisa Rinna's wine tasting and speaking to different people there, who we see as Garcelle, about Sutton in a derogatory manner and saying that, things that Lisa said that would get this fight going, basically. So what happens is Erika does that. It gets everybody talking at this event. And of course, that gets back to Sutton at the event that Erika and Lisa are bad-mouthing her. And she then confronts Lisa about what she's told by Garcelle. Because, of course, Garcelle's loyalty is to Sutton, although everyone's trying to make her waver in that. And so Garcelle refuses to waver in that, and she goes right up to Sutton and says, listen, Erika just tried to talk crap about you and said Lisa said this. No. And I would say that at this point, Garcelle and Sutton have had a conversation, and they have said, you know, things are going to come up for sure about, you know, you or me. And, you know, I promise to tell you right away and tell you on camera so that you can address it. So we don't end up in a falling out by seeing a confessional video later that pisses you off, or you see me in the edit talking behind your back, because that's how friendships get destroyed on Housewives. So that works great for Sutton. She calls it out to Lisa. Lisa's hammered. She looks unhinged. She's like screaming about, don't talk about my husband and her kids, but no one is. So we're like, what are you talking about? And she's just screaming in this really weird freak out scene that was about nothing. So what I recognized was that Lisa was like desperate to get some drama going. So she's just screaming like old soap opera style, overreacting to everything. But then she realizes, I think, how hammered she is, because she can't articulate her words in her screaming like she normally can. So she kind of backs down on that front. But she does try to kick Sutton out, but that doesn't go anywhere. Sutton doesn't leave. The producers aren't going to let Sutton go anyway. That was just bullshit, okay? Because I know how that works. Like, if Sutton left, they went out, they got her, they brought her back in, and they cut that whole part out. Okay, just saying. You wish you could leave. Oh my God. It's like jail in there. To be fair, the producers do show a confessional where Sutton says something to that effect. And I think it's because they even realized that you know, that they wanted to use that scene, but it seems just so over dramatized for what's happening that like the fans were going to be like, what? You know? And so I think they put the confessional video in to kind of say they know that Lisa was kind of overly reacting to that scene, and it seemed a bit desperate in terms of like attention. You know what I mean? Like they didn't want the fans to turn on this show, only Lisa. Dorit wants to set up Garcelle. Mauricio wants to set up Erika Jane Girardi. Dorit wants to set Garcelle up with a guy who's really nice and wants a long-term relationship. Mo wants to set Erika up with an NFL, like, ex-Olympian guy that he knows. Erika seems not interested in a relationship. She only wants sex. Garcelle seems open to Dorit's introduction. I hope they show it. And now we go on this theme that Sutton is a liability. So what the question I had while I was watching the show is something coming where Sutton is going to become a liability? And they're trying to introduce the concept now so we're ready for it. Could be, you know, be a really dramatic moment if there was a problem between Sutton and Garcelle, for sure. Especially since they're working so hard to keep their relationship intact on the show. Lisa's like, why do you want to hurt me? This is the freak out scene. Why do you want to hurt me? You need to look inside and see why you want to hurt me. And I'm like, she wants to hurt you because pretty much everyone watching the show does. And it's kind of catchy. It's a catchy... It's contagious. What can I say? All right. Well, I'm going to leave it on that note. There is some gossip that came out too, which is that Vanderpump Rules may be introducing Garcelle's son, the one that Erika Jane Girardi wanted to have the threesome with, might be introducing him as a formal cast member on the show, and I'll show you why. Everyone thinks that. You guys, what did you think of this week's episode? I don't know. What do you think? You guys, did you miss Kyle? Did you miss Crystal? Are you worried about Crystal not being there since she's got this really serious thing? How did this go from such a subtle problem to such a whopper? I don't know. I mean, give me all your thoughts. I want to hear everything. What are you feeling for Lisa Rinna? Are you feeling for Sutton right now? What have you figured out about these people? Do you think Erika's giving an FU to the victims, like I said? Do me a big favor, you guys. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. If you can afford a shirt, buy one. I'll show you a slide at the end. If you can't, that's okay. There's also a Patreon, which pays for the YouTube if you want to join, and you get all this additional content. It's really fun in there. and next level gossip. I guess that's everything. Have a really great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Thursday. Mwah.